So the title of the poetry, A Tiger in the Zoo, written by Leslie Norris. In this poetry, the poet has taken the example of two tigers, the tiger in the zoo and the tiger in its natural habitat. Now, this particular contrast the poet has taken over here for the reason to make us understand that which tiger is what happy and which tiger is unhappy. So that is, very clear to all of us. The tiger which is in the zoo is unhappy, and the tiger which is in its what natural habitat is what happy. Uh, the poem moves from the zoo to the jungle and back again to the zoo. The poet is taking us sometimes in the zoo. The poet is taking us sometimes in the what natural habitat. For what reason? So this comparison the poet has made so as to make us understand that how important is to have freedom, how important is to have liberty. The tiger which is in the zoo, it's just like a golden cage, in which the tiger has all kind of facilities. So it is the caretaker of the zoo which provides all the things that the tiger wants. But then everything ready-made. The tiger is not getting involved in any kind of practice where it is running behind the prey and it is attacking on it. So there is no struggle, no effort. So the pleasure of life has completely reduced. There is no pleasure. Now, if we see this particular situation of the tiger in the zoo, in true sense, you only tell me, do you think that the tiger in the zoo is enjoying its life? What is your answer?
No, sir.
It's not. So the which tiger is enjoying its life? The tiger which is in its what? Natural habitat. So that's what the poet explaining over here. The poet is describing two tigers over here in order to create that particular sense of understanding in the minds of reader. So it is the reader will start comparing two animals, and then later on they will come to conclusion that which animal is happy and which animal is unhappy. Let's take the example. You are in the one room and where all kind of facilities that are provided to you, whatever you want, everything is there. Even in fact, you don't need to go outside. All kind of facilities are there. I'm telling you that for a 1 month, 2 month, max to max depends on you that how mentally tough you are. For 1 month or 2 months, you would be adjusting yourself within that limited world, within that limited space, within that four walls. Then after 2 months, what will be happening that you will start missing those days where you would go anywhere. You had no any kind of restriction. You would there in the mall, you would there in the theater, you were there in the park, you were there to breathe in the open air, breathe in the what open atmosphere. You are there to breathe in the what in the lap of nature. You are there in the school campus. You were there in the school. You were there with your friends. So these all things, the moments that you spend, you would what miss that. The best example, the relevant example I would take is that you can see our situation. In this pandemic, we are just in the what? Four walls, in the limited world, in the limited space. Now tell me, do you think that we are enjoying the life? No. For some days, for some month, it was good. But now the days that are changing to week changing into month, and the month is going to change into year, there we are feeling very, very sorry. We are feeling very, very bad that why we are not in a position to enjoy freely. Why this restriction? Though the restriction is there for our own safety, but still somewhere we feel like that it should end, it should stop. Agree with this point? Yes or
Yes, sir.
no? Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Sure.
So now here I start with the poetry. Now this particular explanation which I have given you in order to make you understand that what is important in your life. Freedom, liberty is very important in your life. It is the freedom, it is the liberty that what to say adds value in your life, that adds importance in your life. Your life becomes interesting when you have freedom. Your existence becomes valuable when you have freedom. Your existence become your existence has worth. Your existence has value. Your existence has importance when you have what? A freedom. When a freedom is not there, that existence is useless. So is the poet is trying to make us understand that we are cruel, how we are harsh towards the animal just for our entertainment, just for the sake of entertainment, how we are keeping this majestic animal, a royal animal in the zoo, irrespective, understanding that what this tiger wants. The tiger which is in the zoo desperately wants the freedom, but it is helpless. Why? Because it is in the cage. The biggest fascinating point of this animal is that it's known for its look, it's known for its royal walking, it's known for its what roar, it's known for its what ferocious nature, violent nature. In fact, the more important fact is that it's known for its power and strength, but then it cannot do anything. Why? Because it is behind the bars. So this poem contrasts the tiger in the zoo with the tiger in its natural habitat. The poem moves from the zoo to the jungle and back again to the zoo. Read the poem silently once and say which stanzas speak about the tiger in the zoo and which ones speak about the tiger in the jungle. So it is you people will go to the poetry silently, and after silent reading you will decide which particular stanza tells us that the tiger is in the zoo and the tiger is in its what natural habitat. So just quickly, I can tell you that thinking that you read the poetry and you can tell me the first stanza, it tells us that the tiger, it is in the zoo. Second stanza, it tells us that the tiger is in its what natural habitat. The third stanza, it also tells that the tiger, it is in its natural habitat. And the fourth one, but is locked in a concrete cell. Again, back to the zoo. This stanza tells us that the tiger is in the zoo. And the last one also it tells us that the tiger is in the zoo. Here now, moving to the next one. He stalks in his vivid steps, the few steps of his cage on pads of velvet void, in his quiet rage. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass, near the water hole where plump deer pass. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws terrorizing the village. But he is locked in a concrete cell. His strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors, He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the billion stars. A beautiful composition by Leslie Norris. And we'll start poetry with the digital content. I hope that I'm audible. Am I audible or not?
Yes, sir,
Yes,
Yes.
audible.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You see here the poetry on the screen, and you can see that the majestic animal, elegant animal. It's known for its power, it's known for its strength. But what is the saddest point? The worst point that this animal it is in the zoo. So what is there? He stalks in his vivid strips, the few strips of his cage, on pads of velvet, quiet in his quiet rage. In this stanza, the poet is describing the situation of the tiger which is in the zoo. What he says that he walks in a quiet rage, unexpressed anger. Why quiet rage is used over here? The poet is saying that the tiger, known for its power, known for its strength, but that power, that strength, it is in the cage, it is behind the bars, and it cannot do anything. So it is helpless. It cannot express its anger. It is expressing what unexpressed anger, as if it has become the part of its life. The cage has become part of its life. So it has become parts of its life. And this animal is helpless. Though it is known for its power, though it is known for its strength, but it is helpless. So it expresses unexpressed anger in the few steps. In the few steps, because as the tiger, it is in the zoo, it is in the cage. What is going to be happen? It is in the what limited space, and it keep walking few steps of the cage. It keep walking few steps of the cage. He has vivid strips. This animal is a beautiful. Why? Because it has a bright and attractive lines on its skin, due to which it looks royal, it looks majestic. But then, what is the use of that beauty? This animal is not free. It is in restriction. It is in bondage. Okay, and due to which the tiger is simply walking the limited space of the cage, keep moving in here and there, and then this is how it is showing its what quiet rage. Quiet rage, though anger is there, though wrath is there, but that anger, that wrath, that rage is a quiet. It has been suppressed due to the what? Cage. As it is in the cage, it cannot show its power. Have you understood this stanza? Can I start with the next one?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Moving to the next one. See here. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass, and picture on the screen, it will surely, you will get attract. You get attract, but then attraction to the safest point. One should get attract, one should get fascinated with this majestic and royal animal, but with safest distance, because this animal is very dangerous, very violent, known for its power, known for its strength, known for its anger. It's a ferocious animal, but it is in the cage. So here, what the poet says that he lurks in shadow. He lurks in shadow means what? He waits in shadow. And as he waits in shadow, This particular line of the poetry makes us understand that this animal is brilliant. This animal is intelligent. He knows that where its prey comes. He knows that where its prey comes, and that is why it has chosen the spot of water body. Okay? And then there, in order to reach to the water body, what it is doing? It what lurks, it waits in shadow of the tree. And what it does that? It slides secretly, it walks secretly in order to reach to the point where the water body is there. Because it knows that there would be coming its prey, so this intelligent animal is not showing its presence. It simply walks secretly and reaches to the water body so as to attack on its prey. Understood this stanza? Yes?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Can
Yes,
you
sir.
repeat?
Now see here. Now the tiger slowly reached to the spot, reached to the water body, and that water body is a pond, lake, river, stream, near the water hole where the plum deer pass. Now the tiger slowly moving through the long grass without knowing its presence, it reached to the pond where the fat deer comes over there, and fat deer is the prey of the tiger. Now this particular adjective which the poet has used over here in order to describe the deer. How was the deer? The deer was fat. And then this is how the tiger is reaching to the water hole. And he searches the what? Plum deer fat. And which is its what? Food. That shows the animal is intelligent. That shows the animal is brilliant. So it reaches to the water body where its prey would be coming, and its prey is what? Plum deer, which is fat deer, and it's really a good food for the tiger. Next one, he should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, bearing his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. What we understand by this stanza? In this stanza, we understand that if in case the tiger, it had not been in the cage, it would be free to go anywhere, no restriction. So that's what the thing that the poet is describing over here. If in case it had not been in the cage, it had not been in the zoo, so what it should be doing? It should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge. So whichever the houses which are close to the forest, which are on the edge of the jungle, which are on the edge of the forest, there this animal would be roaring. Snarling is what? Roaring around houses. For what reason? So as to terrorize the villagers. So as to terrorize the villagers which lives at the edge of the jungle. And how it would be terrorizing them? It would be terrorizing them, showing its what? White fangs, its claws, and the intention is clear, so as to terrorize the villagers. So here, he snarls, roars and walks around the houses which are near to the jungle, which are at the jungle's edge. He shows his white fangs, sharp teeth, and claws. For what reason? To terrorize, to scare the villagers. For the reason to show its presence. For the reason to terrorize the villagers. Did you understand this particular stanza? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Next one.
Yes, sir.
You see here, but he is logged. But the very unfortunate and the sad point is that the tiger cannot do this, cannot do all these things which it want to do. It cannot do. Why? Because it is locked in a concrete cell. Since the animal is locked in a concrete cell, due to which his strength is beyond the bars. He is powerful. He has a lot of strength in its arm, but it cannot do anything. Why? Because it is locked in a concrete cell, and as it is locked in a concrete cell, its strength is beyond the bars. That strength is useless. That power is useless. Why? It cannot show its power on anybody. It is in the cage. But is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. Ignoring visitors? The people who keep coming there in the zoo with the intention to enjoy the beauty of this royal animal, majestic animal. But that has become the part of tiger's life. Tigers keep ignoring all the visitors. Okay, now these visitors are the visitors who keep coming to the zoo so as to enjoy the beauty of this animal. So here, tiger, is closed inside concrete cell, cage of stone. How is the concrete cell? The concrete cell, it is made up of stone, and there in that the tiger is there. The tiger is closed inside the concrete cell. He can show his strength here. So he walks in the limited space. And what is the worst point of the tiger is that it is locked in a concrete cell. That is why it has a limited space, and within that limited space, it keeps walking here and there. It keeps walking the limited space of the cage. He ignores the visitors, humans who have kept him in the cage. And he also ignores those people, those humans who have kept him in the cage. He keeps ignoring them. Have you understood this, Sansa? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Only one voice?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Did you understand or not? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Moving to the next one. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. In this stanza, the last stanza of the poetry makes us understand that what is the trouble, what is the intense grief, and what is the pain of the tiger which is in the zoo, which is in the concrete cell. And what the poet says in the last stanza of the poetry, he hears the last voice at night. Who hears? The tiger. The tiger listens the last voice, and that last voice, it is of the people who are going back to their houses. The people who have come to the zoo to see the tiger, now they are going back to their houses. And that particular voice, it is being attended by the tiger. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and staring with his brilliant eyes. In the next line, what we understand, he also listens the sound of a patrolling cars. He also listens the what? Sound of patrolling cars, the cars of police, the cars of caretaker, the cars of guards. Okay? So these people are the people who have the responsibility of taking care of animals, taking care of the zoo. And these people, they are taking round in the zoo. And this particular sound of patrolling cars that is being attended by the tiger. He also listens the sound of a patrolling car, the cars of police, by his brilliant eyes. Brilliant eyes, the eyes which are hopeful, hopeful for freedom. Understand this. For what reason the poet has used brilliant eyes? The poet has used brilliant eyes for the reason to describe the tiger's eyes are hopeful, hopeful eyes for freedom. He looks at the brilliant stars, brilliant future of freedom. As the tiger is in the zoo, it is in the concrete cell, its eyes are hopeful, expecting that the day would come that it would be free. So that hopeful eyes, that freedom is seen in its eyes. The eyes desperately wants the freedom. By his brilliant eyes, hopeful eyes for freedom, he looks at the brilliant stars, bright future of freedom. So this particular description which has been given over here, a brilliant eyes, a brilliant stars, it makes us understand that brilliant eyes, that is the eyes hopeful for freedom. And the brilliant stars, this description which is used by the poet over here for the reason to tell us what bright future of freedom. The tiger is expecting the day would come that he would be what, getting freedom. He is just waiting for the day to come in its life. He is waiting for the bright future of freedom, and that is seen in his brilliant eyes. That is seen in his what? Brilliant eyes, hopeful eyes for freedom. So did you understand the poetry? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.